Good day and welcome to PMR Africa's podcast, PMR Global, where we celebrate excellence and acknowledge companies, individuals, and teams across various industry sectors. We began this initiative as an extension of our various PMR platforms. Our web address is www.pmrafrica.com, and the magazine is freely available on the World Wide Web. PMR Africa includes a magazine, a research division, an events division, and the podcast initiative. PMR Africa works nationally in South Africa and throughout the SADC region, the South African Development Community. And this morning we are honored to have Henk van Bemmelen as our guest today. Henk is the Chief Executive Officer of Blue Security in Durban, KwaZulu-Natal. Henk, welcome and thank you for joining us on this podcast episode. We appreciate your time and willingness to participate today. Great to have you here this morning.
Awesome. Thank you very much, John. And thank you for the opportunity this morning.
Yeah, thank you very much. Henk, tell us a little bit about yourself, your story. Who is Henk van Bemmelen? Where do you come from? Give us a brief overview of yourself and your childhood days.
It's a long story. I'll probably take the whole day to give it around for you. But in a quick nutshell, I was born in Southwest Africa, a place called Grootfontein, of all places.
In the north,
yeah. And then my dad came from Netherlands, so I'm a pure Dutchman, as they will call me. And he stayed there, always came across from a missionary team, stayed for about 5 years there, moved down to Joburg. Childhood was tough, family was tough, and our background is, we were not very rich, struggled quite a lot. But on a lot of things, it was a tough childhood. Pushed through school. I know one of my friends' mom always enforced me to say, listen, you have to have matric. Matric was always, that was the golden ticket in our era, to say, if you got matric, you could move mountains. Forward, and, when you have a tough childhood through your time, you get to a stage where you don't want to do school anymore, you want to bail. And she really pushed it through. And I did my matric. I had to do my military service. Obviously, it was 2 years compulsory. Military is one of those things you fear to go there. And when you've done your 2 years, you can never stop talking about it and the good it did you. It was a weird 2 years. You walk in there, unsecure, feared for your life. You're only like 17, 18 years old. And then you walk out there as a man and you understand the concept of the world and what you want to do and where you want to go. And that was probably one of my best times in my lifespan as a young adult. Came out of that, always wanted to, believe it or not, I wanted to be a fireman. That's always been in my blood for a long time, and just never got to that. Did a few loose ends through the post office, that's on that stage. And then probably about 6 months after the army, I joined a security company. I actually joined it for like a temporary basis because I had some other plans and some other ideas, and the fireman was still the thing on my mind. But in my first 3 months in that industry, I understood it because, the army sort of lines up with our security industry. And the security at that stage was quite different from what it was now. It was more like a line of police services. And by my third month, I just realized this is where I want to be. This is just my passion for it. And then I just started working through the business. Went through the reaction side. I did armed reaction, work control room. I've learned the technical side of the business, did some installations, spent some time in financial side of it. And then I just worked through the business. I went through some massive corporate companies and through some big acquisitions and understand the business, and always try to stay in the front line, learn, put a lot of hours into it. And that's how I grew through the business.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I think it's my 36th year in this business industry.
Yeah. Sure.
And I've got an opportunity now to head up one of the good quality big brand blue business in KZN,
Yeah.
and that's an
Excellent.
honor by itself.
Yeah. No, and congratulations on what you have achieved. Well done. Congratulations. If we look at your leadership philosophy and style, how did you find leadership, and how has that evolved over your career? And then with that, how do you describe your leadership style? Um, Democratic, transformational, coaching, and how do you adapt it?
Yeah, leadership's always an interesting point. I always look back when I started in my leadership role, when I became, I think my first one was like a reaction manager to manage a shift.
Yeah, yeah,
And as you grow through it, you start learning leadership's not about having a big stick and chase people around every day and hitting them in the head. It doesn't work like that. And we all learn and we all grow, And I always say to the younger leaders, we get too eager to grow too quickly and become too quick to the top. And we
yeah,
don't earn our stripes. Marshall always says, you earn stripes as you go through the business.
yeah,
But yeah, on my leadership is I'm very coach driven. I love that to do that to people. I believe as a leader, you need to understand the business. You
yeah,
need to
yeah,
understand how the departments work, how the things around you work. Because when you sit around the table and you talk about business strategy and head, if you don't understand the basic stuff, you always miss something. I've
yeah,
learned in leadership from myself as a leader. I see things, I understand things, I feel things, but it's not necessarily always the same as what the guy on the field feels.
correct.
In our business, the guys that's doing like our debtors and our reaction guys, they deal with stuff every day. They
Yeah,
can
yeah,
probably teach us a few things as leaders
about
that we
leadership.
should change and make it easier. So I've
Yeah,
really, in my leadership, learned to bring people closer around the table, have individual discussions, get the guys that's lower down, that's actually doing the work, to participate in it. And
yeah.
that's how we've learned how we build up from this leadership, because we work as a team. Leadership is not
And
individual.
with that, what would you say are the more important attributes of a successful leader? I mean, you are touching on that already now.
Yeah, so I think it's about understanding the people. I always say to guys, as a leader, you move the business if you can move people. Um, it's easy to make people move. We can all do that. That's very easy.
Yeah, yeah,
Very
yeah.
difficult to people to follow you,
Follow you. Yeah,
because you are a leader. And I think that's something that I really strive for, is when I walk away or when I leave the business, that people followed through this business. It wasn't just because they didn't have a choice and they
yeah,
have to work. It's all about passion and building momentum in that. And in my leadership, my advice always be, spend time, share your knowledge. We've got this habit as leaders sometimes, we don't want to share our stuff because we're afraid the next guy's going to take our job.
yeah, yeah.
The guys around you need to know it more than you to make you successful.
Correct, yeah,
If you're afraid you're going to lose your job, then you're doing something wrong and you're ticking the wrong box.
yeah, 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 that's
But
very true.
yeah, passion, you need to have the passion. As leadership, it takes a lot of hours. It's not an 8 to 5 job. If you think you're going to get that right, you're not going to make it. And it's commitment. You have to do that. I've always said, you need to love what you do and do what you love.
Yeah, yeah, that's
If you just wake up in the morning and you say, listen, I can't do this job anymore, as a leader, then you're in trouble.
yeah. If we look at team culture and people development, how do you keep your team motivated despite obstacles?
So culture is a big thing in our business. It's something we've been driven in blue a lot. The problem with culture is you always go through stages in business. Then you change direction, or you change sort of products in the business, or you want to do something different. You remember, a business is it's like a lifestyle business that you need to move direction all the time. We know things are tough these times in the environment, and if you don't shift the business around, you're going to fall behind and left
Yeah,
behind. But people don't like change. There's one thing I've learned through my leadership is that I always look at myself. When we do things, I always say to the leaders, if somebody had to do it to you, or I had to do it to you, or my shield had to do it to you, what will be your reaction? Because whatever your reaction is what the reaction of your staff will be. And that reaction will create a culture in it. So sometimes we go through school, we build it up, and then we have this shift in our business. And we had a little bit of a shift in our business now because obviously there was some changes and things we're doing because we're reshaping the business a little bit for different direction and looking at different objectives in the business. And it does sometimes give you a little bit of a knockback on your culture. But it's about the strong standing up and saying, okay, how do we pick this up? How do we move it forward? How do we make it better than what it was? So the culture is a big thing. We spend a lot of time and energy on that. And it's just touching those soft points on the people and understanding where we're going with the people.
Yeah. With a clear message. And for you to look up for inspiration or mentorship, is there a specific individual, or would you say it's by reading?
So something, talking about the reading, I could never read. For some reason, I always had this, when you're younger, I could read a lot of magazines. So that's the easy part, to do that. And but when it gets to business development, it's always a tough one. But in the last few years, I've really overcome that one. There's some awesome knowledge in reading. These days, it's easy. You can do a lot of research on the internet, and you get a lot of articles. Guys are posting and sharing their ideas, and so I find a lot of stuff that. But reading is a good one. I always had a action coach that I could always roll back to, that I normally used to sit once a month. Because it gets lonely on the top sometimes. And sometimes everybody looks at you and you have to pin the directions. And sometimes you sort of also not 100% sure yourself, and you also have a little bit of a doubt in it because we're human, that's just who we are. And then this action coach looks at you from an outside to see where you are as an Australian. So I learned out that. I had some good, phenomenal senior guys cross my pathway over the years. Some directors and other CEOs. And I'm hungry for that because I always listen to their side, listen to their stories, listen to their direction.
Your
you
peers,
take good stuff out of that. Shareholder I've got now is really also, he understands the business, he understands where we want to go and what we want to do. And that's where you get your ideas. You need to keep your mind open, listen, take the good stuff, use that, and make that work for you. But it's ongoing. We learn every day, we discover everything every day. The environment's changing every day, so you need to be on top of that.
It's a process.
It's a big process.
If you look at new employees, what would you say? What's the most important traits you look for when you hire a new employee, especially in the private security industry? What specific? What are you looking at?
So it's always different because obviously you've got separate departments in our industry. You've got extreme from administration to guys that works reaction on the road to a control room. So the different calibers and the criteria are different. But in our HR policy, when we start off, we always look at passion. Passion is a big thing. I think in the security industry, it always used to be like a stepping stone for something next because it was easy to get into the business. That's changed now. It's become quite a high-level professional job. It's not just a mouse job anymore. And when you look on the response or the reaction side, it's always about that thing, where does your passion lie? Because remember, we always teach the guys that whatever you get wrong in your financial side has an impact to your client on the end. And if you miss something in financial, you'll miss the client's life on the other side because our business is to protect lives. And if we don't understand that and don't get that right, we'll get it wrong. So if you don't have the passion to do that, that guy will never offer himself to protect your life. Doesn't matter if you control room, reaction, debtors, technical, doesn't matter. They all have this understanding, and that's what we look for. So in our candidates, we always look for the passion, and do you want to make a difference wherever you go? And that's sort of the key of criteria that we start off.
And how do you encourage creative thinking and foster a culture of innovation in blue security?
Yeah, I do quite a lot of, so in our business, we've created like our Exco. In our Exco, we've created a team under us called our Manco. So that's our second sort of succession planning coming through the business. And we channel all our strategies and everything down to everybody. And we open up these conversations on a regular basis on what can we do different, what does it look like. Below Manco, we got like a Genco. That's normally your supervisory line. And we
Yeah,
include him also to say, how do we create things? So we try and, between the three, have these platforms of communication all the time. Because there's that thing about on the top, you always miss stuff. Because the
yeah,
top starts to get narrow thinking. We get very narrow-minded and we have this tunnel vision. And these guys come from the outside. And then sometimes they just poke and say, but we're missing this, or we're looking at that. So that is sort of how we look at the planning around the
yeah,
succession of that.
yeah. Correct. Tell us a little bit more about the Blue Security story, background, development, the status now. How was the company founded and how has it evolved?
Yeah, so when it started off, it was called Enforce Electronics. So there was a few guys running them, like Peter Anderson. There was a guy called Pada. I can't remember them all, but that was 37 odd years back
Yeah,
when that
yeah,
started. Then on Enforce, they had the electronics and they had the guarding, and then the two of them broke away. The guarding went separate, and then electronics broke away from the guarding. And Peter Anderson took over the electronics side. And from there, he changed it then from Enforce Electronics to Blue Security.
okay.
So I remember 36 years, it was about your alarm goes off. I think those years when we had alarms, we still had little toggle switches to switch them on and off, and you had a little keys thing that you do at the door.
Yeah, yeah,
I remember when you went on holiday for holiday alarm, I came in the house and I had all these little coil wires spinned into the house over the furniture. And so if somebody breaks in, you touch the wires or break it, alarm goes off. That's actually how far back it was. And then it just started. I remember when I joined it in 1990, around there, the first 10 years was sort of flat. Normal reaction, your alarm goes off, we respond, we check, we help the clients, we
yeah,
handle
yeah,
it.
yeah.
If you look at where we are now, because obvious crime also gets smarter. As business gets smarter, everything else gets smarter around us, and so does the
Yeah,
criminals.
crime evolves.
Johan, if you look at where it evolved now, you got different systems, you control it from your phone. The
Yeah,
reaction model is now a small part of the business. Your
yeah,
alarm goes off, we respond. That is still the old school when we did it 30 years. Now it's more about how do you get to the community? How do you safeguard outside of the perimeter? You know, when we started 30 years back, it was all about the client in his house, protecting his
yeah,
house.
yeah, yeah,
Then it went outside his borderline. Then it went outside in his street. Then it was, okay, but what about my community? Because if you don't clean my community, it's too close to home. Then it
yeah,
was
yeah,
community. And then it was the whole suburb became part of that.
yeah,
Then the electronics wasn't enough. We had to start doing like canine dog units now. We had to
yeah.
have tactical
Sure.
armed specialized guys running into certain crime levels. We're creating investigation teams. We're creating these specialized software to track information. We're analyzing data. So it's involved. It's from I was lucky, one of the guys, to see where it was 35 years
Then,
back
yeah, and now,
and
yeah,
then how it's involved.
yeah,
I think the nice thing for me is I like technology. That's something that really interests me is the technology side. And that part of it is also I'm looking always, how do we involve? And I always tell a team, how do we do different? How do we measure it?
yeah,
I think now AI is sort of the big thing
yeah,
coming
yeah,
through the ranks now. And we all have to learn that, myself also. We think
yeah,
we know AI. There's some guys that I know that's plumbers that's freaking now thinking they're AI experts. AI is not just an AI thing. There's a
correct.
a
Yeah,
special thing. It's something special. But
yeah,
I think for me as a leader, the challenge lies is how do we make ourselves that AI ready and how do we
yeah,
move that in the
and
business?
and work with it. Yeah. If we look at the Blue Security brand, what does it represent?
They really represent safety. I think we've really worked hard on that to say safety is the part of the blue brand. our mission now that we've sort of not shift, but we've added onto it to a stronger direction or a stronger journey is to say, how do we take that safety for the next generations? You know, I'm 56 years old. I don't have a long way to go anymore. And when I walk away, I can't say, well, I've secured my generation, because it's not about my generation. It's about the next generation and the next
Yeah,
generation.
correct.
And by the time we're gone and in heaven, the next generation must just carry on. So it's about how do you involve it? How do you make it better? How do you...
Yeah,
So the safety becomes the next generation's safety. And how do
yeah,
you create that safety? And that's what we want to do with the Blue brand is that wherever you are, whatever you do, we're there to cover you and make sure you're in a safe environment.
yeah. And then the uniqueness around Blue Security, how would you
So
describe
I think
that?
the big uniqueness standing out is our innovation side. You know, if you look at, we're doing well with armed reaction. Our service levels is very good there. Our tactical side is one of our uniqueness, but everybody does that. You know, it's easy to have armed reaction. It's easy to have tactical. It's easy to sort of look after the community side. As when you start now using intelligence to make you unique. And
Yeah, yeah,
my mission and my drive for the next couple of months or years is to say, I want to be in a space in this business where we can predict the crime. If we can predict the crime,
yeah,
then we are unique, because that's something that nobody can do, because most things have patterns in them.
yeah,
It's a big shot in the air, and some guys will think it's crazy thinking, but that's the milestone.
yeah,
To
yeah.
predict
That's
the
where you want
crime
to
and
get
that, and that's what creates uniqueness. So, you know, by doing that, the amount of technology we're putting out into the communities, camera poles we're putting into communities, and that
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
busy with drones coming through the business that we're looking at doing that. I've just launched like a highway patrol units to patrol our highways, because we're having, and we did that because there's some serious problems on the highways.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's nobody's fault. It's just the environment that created that.
yeah,
And
yeah,
our clients needed help, and hence we started that. So these are all the small little unique services that we add to the brand. So
yeah,
not just the day you sign up, it's not just about getting a response vehicle when your alarm goes off.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of other layers that's coming through. There's investigations, there's
Sure.
dog
Yeah,
units, all of them that we can line up, and that's what makes us unique. The
yeah,
packages is bigger than the normal.
yeah. If we look specifically at values, what would you say? What values guide the company's actions? And then with that, um, what aspect contributes most to Blue Security's reputation? So, what goes with your values and your reputation?
So our values, we always got the one word standing out, COPS. It's care, ownership, passion, and service. That goes with our values. The team knows my values. One, we all know we have a job to do. We all know our client comes first. We need to make
Yeah,
sure
yeah,
we're first. And we'll do anything in that to make sure the client gets the best service. Because if you
yeah,
don't get that right, no, one of our values is we work in time and seconds in our business. Everything's in seconds. Response time, the way you action a client, because that's just the type of environment that we work in and the type of business we lined up. But our biggest value also is around ethics. We get it
yeah,
wrong. We normal, we human beings in that, but you
yeah,
own up to that, you fix it, and you make sure it doesn't happen again.
correct.
So
Yeah,
that's definitely the
yeah,
values out of the business.
yeah.
What was the other
And
one you asked?
how do you ensure excellent and professional service by your staff?
So we got a lot of, we measure our clients quite aggressively. We got some systems in the business that measures calls coming in. Because we got so much data, we can measure data quite a lot. So one, we take data and we measure to make sure we give the best service in the beginning, so it doesn't become an issue somewhere along the line. But we measure that. We do quite a few surveys on a regular basis. You got quite a few social platforms that can give you your, you know, your, they call it a temperature measure around where your
Yeah, yeah,
satisfaction client base is. And then that's what we use to do that. Just measure and make sure everybody ticks the box and we don't
yeah,
drop
yeah,
anything between. And then I
Yeah.
think on the end of the day, when you win the PMR, it's also a good indication to show whatever we
Yeah.
do, whatever systems we got in place, it's working for the business.
A little bit of acknowledgement. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that, how do you acknowledge and motivate your staff? And then I think also what goes with that is that how do you make sure that they are well trained and then measure their performance?
Yeah. So training is a big thing in our business, especially on the technical side and on the control room and reaction side, because those things has a massive ripple impact onto the business if we get it wrong.
Yeah.
And skills has become quite tough in the industry. It's not like the
Yeah.
older days. It's easy to get the skills. You'll find somebody else from police, whatever, and you bring it across for reaction. So skills have become tough. So we had to realign all our training programs, all our development programs. Some of them you start like halfway base and you don't have a guy just walked in, he gets uniform and he walks out because he's qualified. And because of that, it also gives you a little bit of a leverage to train the guy from fresh. So he has
Sure.
new ideas and new styles. But we spend a lot of time on training staff. Development is a big thing in our business, from management right through to the normal guys. And it's just ongoing. We do it ongoing every month, every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what would you say, what sets Blue Security apart from other similar companies? What do you do differently? What would you say?
I would. It's always a tough one because you don't always understand what other guys do, isn't it? But I think it's about looking after the people. I think is the criteria of that. You want to create an environment where people want to work for you and they don't just work for you because they have to work for you. And I think we always get that right. I know in the past we always have guys requesting to come work for us because they understand the business. I think for people, they also want to see growth in your business. They also want to see opportunities. We all want to grow. We all want to become something. We all want to go somewhere. We all want to become leaders.
Correct.
And if you create those opportunities, you'll attract those type of people. And we spend a lot of energy on the staff, spend a lot of time on development. And I think those are small little boxes that ticks off that makes us exception from what the other guys are.
Yeah, true. Excellent. Henk, we're taking a quick ad break and then we'll be back.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Sean.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Kobe Potgieter from Remax Independent Properties here in Gqeberha. The one thing that makes our office unique at Remax Independent, we're not only the #1 real estate office in the Eastern Cape, we are also the company with the best culture, working environment in place where agents grow. I think it's important that we look at a holistic development for our agents to make them feel appreciated, to enable them then to go into the Eastern Cape where they can carry over the spirit of Ubuntu. We operate across all major real estate sectors, including real estate sales, rentals, commercial, as well as agriculture. We proudly service a significant portion of the Gqeberha property market, representing approximately 30% of total market activity. Our success is built on strong leadership, exceptional service delivery, and a team of driven professionals who put people first. You are in expert hands, and we pride ourselves for the service excellence that we deliver every day.
And we're back.
Yes.
Henk, you touched on this, but tell us a little bit more about Blue Security's service offerings.
So the basic model is the response and monitoring side that we provide. You'll start off with a normal alarm goes off, vehicle response, control room phone, the standard service. We got a full setup technical service that can do anything from alarms to your CCTV to electric fence, gate automation, and that all the key sort of security related stuff in your house that they can do.
Basic stuff,
Yeah, we spend a lot of training on our technical side of it, so the guys get on that. Then from a product side, we've got, obviously CCTV has become the big thing now. Video verification and video monitoring has become the second biggest thing now. And those sort of layers are starting to replace the alarms, because obvious clients want to, it's nice to see what's happening at the house. So visual is a big thing. It's not just about what you think is happening at the house and that. And then from there, we've got commercial big space where we play now, from logistics right through to any commercial house. They always get treated a little bit different because it's quite a unique side. I do quite a lot of retail stores like Clicks and Dis-Chem is two of my big clients on the blue side. Just launched guarding about 5 months back. Guarding we always used to outsource in that, but we brought in business because the demand was there, and especially on the estate side. So we started to focus on estates, become quite a big part of our business also. So that's part of the offering in that. And then, we've got the big one we just launched now was the highway patrol. So that's nice and fresh. 1 week already, and we had some good results from that already on our client base. The demands to make that one go bigger. We want to cover all main roads eventually. And guarding, highway patrol, we got big tactical. I don't know if you've seen, we've got some ride vehicles now running around. Two of them where we need them, use them once or twice already. Quite a neat challenge service on its own, but that's where it is. So that's sort of where we're on the bucket size. Our control room is very, very intelligent at. We got our investigation service running now. So we build this whole system of about safer city. We want to control in that safer city is like help with crime dockets, help with investigations, help with polygraphing. And I just added on service. We're always careful because, we always got the South African police has also got their own challenges. And people don't always understand it. It's easy to stand on the side and point fingers and throw the stones, but we deal with those guys a lot, and we spend a lot of time with them. And if you listen to the challenges and the stories, sometimes it's out of their hands. It's not their fault. So we always try and stay close to the guys. We always try and help them where we can. Because that's crucial for our business also. Because if they're absent, then we struggle, and it makes it hard for us to do that. And that's the nice to have that relationship with them.
That's good.
It works.
If we look at sustainable development practices, how do you ensure good sustainable development practices in the company?
You just have to measure it daily. There's certain KPIs that you have to measure every day. It's like, what does the response times look like? It's easy to start doing averages because your data becomes bigger, then you're losing from between that. So we got set standard dashboards and KPIs through the business, that gets measured by every department. There's timelines on them, there's projects on them, and that's how we measure the business. To make sure we met up those KPIs, and then once a month we'll go through this dashboard and see where they are. I'll give you a good example. We look at cancellations. A cancellation is a cancellation, but it's how you follow it up. Why? Because if you have a client that cancels and he's unhappy, it means you've missed something. And you take that tool and you bring it back in the business, and you measure and you measure and you measure. Make sure you sustain that business pattern. Because our business works in a pattern. So as long as the pattern is there, you're on the right track.
And what will you say? What systems have you put in place to manage Blue Security as a world-class institution?
Yes, I remember in the older days, we always used to use pen and paper. I remember when our alarm went off, you had what do you call these dot printers that was running up and down, printing the client's portfolio to make the alarm go off. I think world-class now is you need to have a good CRM system in the business. We use Microsoft Dynamics, so that's one of the top ranges one. And then you just build that system to make sure it ticks every KPI that we need to measure in the business.
But on that also, you add to South Africa's corporate competitiveness.
Yes, absolutely.
You add to that,
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, when you do that, yeah, it puts you on a different level because you can get so much more out of the system, and it gives you so much more direction on what's your next step and where you want to go on your
Yeah,
journey. Because like I said earlier on, we've got so much data that we can utilize and then break that away.
yeah. And the data is gold dust. It must just be put
Yeah,
into
it's gold dust.
workable format. Yeah.
And then we got some other systems in the business that we don't easily change, especially like our control room stuff. It's solid, doesn't break. We can't afford to have downtime on it.
Yeah.
And those stuff that you use just to make sure the business sticks and your whole IT infrastructure makes sure that that's operational at all times.
Yeah. In today's world, as you know, one must have the ability to deal with the unexpected, especially in your environment. So how does Blue Security deal with the unexpected?
So part of my big thing is always I've got a risk register that I use. I follow patterns quite well across the news and the areas. We've got a company that sort of gives us high-level detail also. They do a lot of analytics to tell us something's coming. It's that thing about trying to predict crime. As you try and predict crime, you try and predict what will happen in the world. And I think we're all there because there's a lot of uncertainty, and we have a little bit of a disruption in the political world. It has a big role back to us. Because now there's a march, and then the guys close down the road, and then you have to reshape the business, and you have to work around those clients that now isolated from your client base. So we have these continuous strat sessions when we talk about it, and we have these groups where we share these things all the time, and you learn quickly which one's going to escalate high and which one's not. But you build this model to try and keep you ahead of the time, work on it. It's some of the things you just wake up one morning and it's gone poof, and then you have to get around it quickly. Look at when we had the riots. I think it was 2021 or 2020.
Yeah.
You could plan anything. You could have anything in your arsenal, anything. Nobody planned that.
That was totally unexpected. Yeah. So.
And we've taken that and we've learned out of that. And even until now, that's 6 years down the line, we still have that manual and we still refer back to that stuff. Because that was extreme. What the next extreme is, we don't know. We'll wait and see what happens. But you try and plan and you try and prepare. We spend a lot of time in communities to try and also give them direction and work it. Human nature, after 2-3 years, nothing happened, you get laxy-daisy, then let your guard go. It's just who we are. But we just keep on reminding ourselves what's next. Because that's our expectation from our clients.
Yeah. What is Blue Security doing to improve the quality of life of communities in Durban, the greater metro region, specifically in terms of poverty alleviation, fighting HIV and AIDS, and other socioeconomic issues?
Yeah. So part of my Marshall and his top of list of his bucket list is that, and he does this quite a lot every year. He looks after poor, so we contribute a lot into certain organizations financially to help the guys in that. From a security point of view in a blue business, we join up with quite a lot of schools and non-profit organizations to help them. We spend a lot of time with sponsors there. Our biggest thing we're doing is we've got a couple of baby centers that we protect. But what we've done is so a big thing in South Africa is there's sadly there's this, I won't say it's crime, but it's where moms, when they don't want their babies, they just leave them on the pavement or at a church door and they walk away. And we've got some of these homes where we've gone on the outside and they build this, we call it like a baby trap. So you can open the lid and you can put the baby inside. But what we've done is we've created sensors inside these boxes.
Okay.
So as soon as somebody puts a baby in there, we'll get a signal, we'll activate a camera, send a vehicle, and then you can hold the baby house. So in a question of 5 minutes, if somebody's taking care of the baby and it doesn't lay there for the whole night or the next day. So that's something that we really do big. We had some big cases already around that. I think we actually had one 2 weeks back where we got messages around that. And it's just, you work around the thing, So there's quite a lot of involvement from the blue side around non-profits
Yeah, excellent.
and these baby rooms,
Yeah. What is your vision for the company, for Blue Security? What's your vision?
Vision is definitely to be national at some stage. We got a lot of information, we got a lot of data, we got a lot of ideas to take across to other regions and not just keep it in Durban. But our big vision is now, and I've just changed the whole vision onto our portfolio of the business. We need to protect the next generation. We need to get to a stage where the next generation knows they're in safe hands as the business move forward. So next generation is a big thing. But my vision is also, I would love to get to a stage where the kids walk on the street and in our days we were playing ball and you wait for the street light to be your alarm clock to go home.
Play cricket in the street,
Absolutely. If we can get there, then we're good way. But fighting crime is our thing. We're putting a lot of energy in it, working hard with police, SAPs around that, and we need to make a difference. It works, it takes a long time, but we're slowly chipping away and we're getting there.
Blue Security is considered one of Greater Durban area's most trusted companies. So what do you attribute that to?
Definitely our service. Absolutely our service. And I believe in my heart that 100% of our clients has got trust in us. Because we just do what we walk the talk. And I believe that's what makes the difference, is that trust in our business.
Yeah, excellent. Henk, you touched on that earlier on. The private security industry is changing in South Africa. So how do you see that is changing? But with that, the fight against crime is changing, with criminal activity ever changing. So how does one keep up with that and stay ahead? You mentioned innovation, that's very important, and you actually want to know when a crime is going to take place before it's taking place.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I think if we can predict the crime, we're in a good space. And that's my mission, and we're definitely going to get there. But people must always remember, and we always share this to our clients too, a lot of the safety starts with us as individuals. As businesses and as police and as other security companies, we can put a lot of time and a lot of effort into a lot of things, and we can change things and add things, but it still starts at one space with a client. If you walk around, and I still see it a lot, you drive around, you got all your windows open, and you got all your luggage on the front seat, or you're standing around thing, you got your phone in your hand, and guys driving past, walking past, and then you're looking for trouble, because the petty crime will always be around. It will be hard to work that. But the next level of crime and the next level of crime, we can all displace that. So I always say to clients, safety starts with yourself. And if you sleep open and your doors are open, your gates open, you're going to be in trouble. Same with your car, leave the doors open, you're going to be in trouble on that. You have to create that safe environment around yourself. The other part then becomes us. How do we take that crime to displace it? The secrets to predict crime is to get very proactive around the crime and to send a clear message out that we're coming. This is a safe zone. Stay away from the safe zone.
Yeah. Great, excellent. Just to end off with, we've got some just fun profile questions for you. You mentioned that your first job was in the post office.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I made that. I think that lasted 5 months. Then I realized, I'm not built for this. Not gonna stick around
but
for that.
The post office was that time still very structured and organized, and a good institution to work for.
Yeah, so I remember most of the young guys when we came out of the army, you sort of leaned to government work. I think that was sort of where the tick box was. But when I walked into the post office, totally different. It's way different structured. It was a very high level professional job, to put it that way.
And what do you do for fun to relax?
I've got a couple of things. One, I like staying fit, so I spend some time in gym. I think my wife always says you spend time in gym because I throw things around there because I can't throw things around at the office, so that helps a little bit for stress. Love riding motorbike, so my wife loves it too. So we actually tour quite a lot. We do 3,000 k's a shot, so that's quite lekker.
And then
yeah. And then I love the hunting. I do a lot of hunting. So those are sort of the three things that really keep me ticking.
Excellent. And what's your secret talent? It's not going to be secret anymore, but what's your secret talent? Baking a nice cake, a bread.
What is my talent? I don't know, Lon. I don't think I've got a real talent in it. I can cook, but I don't think everybody will like my cooking because it's freaking as plain as simple. I don't make fancy cakes and that.
What makes you good at what you do? What makes you good at what you do?
It's the passion, huh? I think it's just the passion in me. You know what? I love this job. I've never, I said to the guys, I think once, this was a long time back. You know, in the younger days, we were always careless. And a guy also said to me one day, he says, you never wanted to not come work. I said, when I wake up in the morning and I want to come work, I know I've got a problem. I said, but I know in my 36 years, one morning I woke up and I didn't want to go to work. I said, but that's because I was bubbleless and I couldn't go to work. So I always get joked about that. But it's the
what
passion.
Goes with that? What goes with that, basically, what legacy would you like to leave behind? I feel also it goes about your passion, you know, what you're passionate about, your passion, your legacy.
Yeah, definitely anything is possible. You know, if I look at from where I came and where I am now, anything is possible. You never give up. We never give up. You'll have bad days, but you'll have more good days than bad days. And you push them through in that. And for me, it's always, how did I move the people? You know, when I walk away as legacy, it's like they wanted to follow us. They wanted to follow the business. They wanted to make a difference. And I wanted to start by saying, I had to because I didn't have a choice. And I think that's the key legacy I can leave behind there.
Great, excellent.
I must say, one talent I got good is I love time with my grandkids. Very talented when it comes to Opa. I'm very talented.
Excellent. Great, you must enjoy them. Henk, any other points that you would like to mention or to highlight?
No, I think we've covered it all, Johan. I think that was quite a good, intense discussion.
Thank you very much. Henk, on that note, we conclude. Thank you very much for your time and your travel this morning. Thank you and have a very good day in Durban today.
We will do that. And thanks, Johan. Thanks for the interview. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. This brings us to the end of our episode today. Thank you, Henk van Bemmelen, for participating in our episode. When people are recognized, they feel connected and counted, and they become passionate about their work, their life, and their purpose. Our mission remains to recognize excellence across Africa, honor high-performing teams, and establish benchmarks for organizational performance. Thank you and have a good day.